Hi everybody, this is Rhys Barber from Audiology Associates. Welcome to our earwax removal compilation video today. So we've got this first patient here. Now we've got a compilation. I think these are quite soft earwax removals, these ones, which you do see quite a lot of because patients are at the moment finding it difficult to get appointments to get the earwax removed. So they are tend to throw a lot of drops and other bits and pieces in there, which does tend to soften the wax up a little bit. But what we've got here is the standard size ulnar tube in here. Now you can see right at the entrance to the canal, it's a slightly narrower ear canal, so we're having to use the side of the ulnar tube there just to push the ear canal open a little bit to allow us to accommodate both tools in there. So we're just starting to get a little bit of a grip on this outside edge. You can see it's very, very soft. So as we try and pull this out and lift, you can see it's just breaking little bits off. Now this is kind of the nemesis for suction tubes, just because when you put the suction tube on, it just breaks a little bit off and blocks the tube up straight away. So we're going to go in here with the Jobson Horn just to try and remove some of this softer wax. Now, Jobson Horn's a little bit better at doing this than the suction tube. We'll get a little bit more. It's not ideal because it will squash the wax down and spread it along the canal walls. But you kind of have to use whatever you can get this to use to get this out really. But as you can see, we're just working around the outside edge, just starting to pull down from the top. You can see just how mushy this wax is. You can see the groove that we've taken out the center with the Jobson Horn and then pushed it all out to the outside edges there. So we're going to go back in now with the suction tube. Now the job here with the suction tube is to lift, get all of this soft sticky wax off the ear canal wall, and that hopefully, if we can bunch enough of it together, kind of roll it up. Imagine you're rolling a piece of paper. That's what you're kind of trying to do with this soft wax, to get it all into one sort of bigger blob. So when you put the suction tube on, it gets a really good grip and it's more likely to pull a lot out because you've already rolled it and detached it from the canal wall. Now what you can see here, if you look at the canal wall skin, it looks quite pink. You know, it's a little bit, I wouldn't say it's irritated as such, but you can see the sort of blood vessels that come to the surface a little bit here. Now that's not uncommon when you get these kind of softer, stickier waxes. Don't forget it's been stuck to the canal wall. So the skin underneath has been trying to migrate out, but you get these kind of little bit more pinkness to the skin there. So we're just clearing our way around the outside edge. This is kind of painstaking work, this one. So obviously we will talk about like skin ribbons and things like that on Tuesday's video. This is more of a sort of a methodical kind of plodding sort of wax removal rather than getting huge chunks out. But you can see I've rolled it up. I've started to peel now from the canal walls. Now keep an eye on the bottom of that block of wax. Now we're looking for, there we are. Can you see where, as we lift, it was just starting to move and then got a little bit stuck on that right hand side. So let's see if we can give this a little bit more of a wiggle here. Detach it a little bit further. You can see very, very dense cilia as well. Now don't forget the ear canal entrance is normally like this. This particular, with the cilia all around the outside edge, but this particular ear canal is more like that. So what inadvertently happens is those cilia that would be sitting here suddenly start to cross over because the ear canal's a little bit narrower. So it's made this sort of elongated oval shape. So just trying to get this out. You can see the olive oil on the outside part of the ear canal here. Really, really sticky old stuff this, but it is starting to come away. Now there is a little bit of redness I can see here just below this particular block of wax we're working on now. Now don't forget the Jobson Horn didn't actually go in this far. So this was already here, but we're just trying to detach. We've got this last little bit that's sitting just in front of the eardrum. You'll see the redness we were talking about there. As we lift this section, you'll see it just beyond the suction tube there. So just to the right hand side of the suction tube there, you'll see that little red lump. Now that's where there's been a bit of irritation in here. I would say probably maybe a little bit of sort of Q-tip use or digging around it, trying to get this out. You won't get these little kind of red bruises in the ear canal when that happens as well. It's almost like a little blood blister because the canal wall skin is so thin that when you sort of abrade it, when you just sort of, you're quite rough in there, what can happen is you can actually get these little blood blisters on there. And obviously we didn't go anywhere near that particular portion of the ear canal, so that was already in there but covered by the wax, unfortunately. A little bit of misting to the camera. Why is that happening? Because there's a little bit of olive oil coating these cilia, and as we're pushing through, it's just coating the front end of the endoscope here. So that's the bit with a little lens in the front and with all the little optic fibers around the outside, which is shining the light through. So imagine you've got a little tube with a lens in the middle, and all around the outside is the bright light shining forwards. So as we push through the cilia, those cilia can smudge along the camera lens lens then, if you like, or the endoscope lens, I should say, and it just causes this slight misting you can see here. Now you can take it off, clean it out, put it back in again, but inadvertently you'll probably get it again. So I'm just trying to detach from all the way around. Now you can see this has been here a long old time. It's super duper sticky and it's really deep. It's right up against the eardrum. What effect is that going to have on our patient's hearing? You guys are very knowledgeable about all this. If something's jammed up against your eardrum, of course your eardrum can't vibrate as well as it should. It's really going to dampen that sound down, really going to affect this patient's hearing. So now you can see we've got this last plug that needs to come away. I'm trying to keep it together. And we said this is, I know I've repeated myself quite a bit, say it's super sticky, but because it's really, really stuck to the canal walls, it doesn't want to come out. The last thing you want to do is leave sticky wax down in the anterior recess. Oh my goodness, that would be an absolute nightmare to take away. So we try and keep it together, little gentle movements, teasing and kind of almost walking it down the canal, just so we don't end up getting a lot stuck into that recess there. So we're just taking this little bit away here. Oh, we got it to the outer part of the ear canal. Don't forget, can't quite get it out. Ear canal's this shape, entrance is this shape. So it's kind of trying to get a square peg through a round hole, if you like. So we're just going to nip over the top with the Jobson horn, just try and roll this last little bit of wax out. There we go, almost crashed into the camera. Out that pops, there we are. You can see a little bit of olive oil that was coating onto that as well. So quite a big old plug, you can see that it was stuck close to the eardrum. So we're just gonna try and pick this up so you guys can get a look at it. There we go, there's your plug. And if we take a look behind that, there we are. You can really see that redness there, but the eardrum looking a lot better. So this is what it looked like when we started, a completely chock-a-block. And this is what it looks like at the end. So you can see much, much better. So patient hearing so much better. This is what we removed, so 2.5 centimeters, 1 inch of earwax. While we're on this sort of transition between this one and the next one, guys, it's actually an Easter break over here for us in the UK. But fear not, as I have pre-recorded some videos for you guys to tide you over our Easter break. So I'm not actually back in work now until Thursday next week. So I've already recorded the video for Saturday and for Tuesday. There'll be no shorts though, unfortunately. I didn't really have a chance to do any shorts, but I'll get back to it now when I'm back to work now in a week or so. So this is the second patient little compilation. You can see a very soft earwax here again. Now this was a lovely young lady. She came through very, very nervous, bless her. Really not exactly had any sort of bad experiences before, but just came with a little bit of trepidations to getting this done. So when we get really nervous patients like this, we really talk them through the procedure, explain exactly what's going on, exactly what we're doing. I actually give the patient the option of me talking them through it while we're actually doing it. This particular young lady said it was okay. I think I'd prefer not to know what's going on in there. So we just very, very gently teasing this out the canal. Now, you could say, well, would you go in there with a Jobson horn now and sort of scoop this out? Do you know what? I think for very nervous patients, they tend to do a little bit better with suction. The noise tends to sort of distract them a little bit. And because you're on the outside edge, if you're using suction, you're pulling the wax down the ear canal towards the entrance of the canal. If you're using a Jobson horn, you've got to get behind, press down and pull along. Now, some patients can find that a little bit uncomfortable, especially if you've got very soft wax, you've got to push really close to the canal wall. So although it's going to take longer, I opted to stay with a suction tube on this one just because it just pulls rather than drags along the canal wall. So we're just going to wiggle this bit out. You can see it is very, very super sticky here. So we're just going to work this all the way down the canal. Let's give it a bit of a wiggle here. You can see it's really jammed in there. Turbo wiggling engaged, guys. Out it comes. There we are. Nothing can resist the turbo wiggle. So out that comes, and we'll take a look behind that. You can see a little bit of soft wax there just on the entrance. The eardrum's looking good. Let's just get rid of that little tiny blob of wax just there. So we'll put the side of the suction tube on it, draw back over it, less chance of digging in by going forwards. So this is what it looked like when the patient first came in. This is what it looks like now. So looking lovely and healthy. So we've got 1 centimeter there. So just, oh no, I haven't got my easy read ruler. I think that was 1/4 of an inch, just under, maybe a little bit more than that. I was doing so well with inches as well, guys. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed that video as much as I do. Don't forget, now we are Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, guys. I will keep to remind you this, just so you don't forget. So I shall see you again on Saturday for our pre-recorded video. But as always, guys, take care of yourselves, take care of your ears, and take care of one another, and I'll see you again real soon. Bye, everyone.